I haven't actually asked anyone or any of you guys, but how actually was the weekend? And for context, these guys were frolicking around with many other men at a stag, um, in a
Thank you for
house
having that
in the middle of
bit.
nowhere. From
Yeah.
what I
Yeah,
know.
I was about to say.
Honestly,
It
so
was good.
I was the one, I was latest to arrive. So it was like pitch black dark when I was driving to this place. It's North Wales, right? And I honestly felt like I was in The Shining because it took like half an hour in this one track lane with just like bushes on either side. And there was potholes everywhere. Like if there was a breakdown, you're just nut. And if there was like an ambulance had to come up there, you're just done. You're just absolutely cooked. So the fact that I didn't have anyone to like confided in being like, am I sure this is the right way or anything else? And then turns out wasn't the right way. Had to three of us, so three different occasions. The sat nav took us to this woman's cottage with two noisy but lovely dogs. So by the time, so I was the last one. It was like 10 p.m. So the lights are like blaring into her windows or whatever. She comes out. She's like, "Oh, it's fine. You're the third one today." she was like, "You the last one by any chance?" Because I'd really like to
go to bed.
rather than being the guide for all of us lost souls.
Yeah.
But no, it was really good. There was a hot tub. We had a barbecue. We did lots of poke. We discovered a great new game called Mega Bonk.
Yeah, I had no context, and I just saw Ben's message that he was bonking on the train. So
Yeah. Said I was getting a bonk on the train. Nah, it's such a good game because I was in touch with this game probably when it came out, maybe even 6 months ago. And then I brought the Steam Deck up this weekend and just had a go, and everybody's eyes kind of darted towards the screen as soon as I got it open. Because if any of you haven't played it before, it's great. It's like kind of a 3D Vampire Survivors. It's like Vampire Survivors meets Risk of Rain. It's just very addictive. It's like
there's a constant visual stim going.
Yeah,
there's like so much happening on the screen at any one time. You get to like choose your upgrades as you go. It was very fun, very cool.
Scaling and roguelike. But I think the highlight of Joe's weekend was me and Tamau playing Overcooked.
100% was, yeah. Co-op cooking.
It's a co-op cooking game now, but like you have your
Overcooked. But what was so funny about it?
Because it was me and Tamau.
Every new level, they'd like go in, completely make a pig's ear of it, and then have like a business meeting of like dividing up roles for each other and like optimizing this like stupid little game.
Who took charge? Who's
on
charge?
shopping?
I think it was. Oh right, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant just of the situation. Because I was about to say, I thought me and Tamau both had quite a level head when it came to Overcooked. Because we had two games of just absolute farce where we would be running around like stupidly trying to find out what to do, and then like Joe said, we'd have this kind of mothers meeting to discuss what the most optimal or effective tactic is towards what's the meta towards this level of Overcooked.
My only first initial impression that I would get is that Tamau will be trying to play the game normally, and Ben will be following Tamau and just annoying him for like 10 minutes. Tamau just going, "Why are you not at your station?"
Well, it's more that like Tamau's doing all the communication, all the work, and then Ram will just be like waiting around until it's his part, and then it's frantic.
That did happen one or two times,
and he'd get overwhelmed and be like snappy about things. I need a pot. I need a plate. I need a plate.
Plate. The burger one was the worst.
Us three playing a random game.
The burger and the pizzas was the worst because there was multiple ingredients for one thing. Terrible, stressful, very stressful game, but it was good fun. Yeah, weekend was great. Connor's dad did a lot of cooking, thankfully, and there was a lot of effort put in. So I think we were all very, very grateful for the great cooking.
We're very lucky that there was so much
grub
planning because there was no way we were getting anywhere. We were literally stranded in that place the whole time.
Did you guys have signal? Was that
the signal was better than the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi was so bad, but you may as well just use data.
The signal was way better than Wi-Fi. But I don't know why you would need signal living there unless you were calling a cow or something. But I don't know.
What if you're Joe and you get lost like down the street, potentially going into
Who's driving down there though? That Airbnb is the only thing there. You should have seen it.
How did you get there, Ben? For one.
Tomorrow, Joe.
Oh, okay. So you got it. You didn't force Harriet to drive you to.
No. Train to Shrewsbury to. I was gonna take the train to Garbowen, but it was a bit further north to wherever we were. Like I can't even pronounce the name of where we were. But it was
yourself Welsh.
No, I know. No, I know. Tell me about it. No, it was usually a lot of Welsh areas have their English equivalents, but this one didn't for obvious reasons. But it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend.
Good. I'm glad. I'm sure we can talk a little bit more about the actual poke you played in a bit as well. But we might as well intro our podcast now, shall we? So welcome everyone who has already endured 5 minutes of ramble with the SpillTheTeaCG podcast of me, Alex Dow, Benjamin Yard, and Joe Bernard. Obviously, we'll go through a couple of different things that happened in the last couple of weeks since our last pod. But obviously, I just wanted to highlight some other big news as well that me and Ben have been privy to previously a little bit. But Joe did tweet a wonderful, announcement, I should say, and actually got engaged to the wonderful Emily. So we just want to make sure we all congratulate him. So it's just wonderful news. Look at Ben, he's smiling. It's like I don't know why he's smiling. Like,
no, I'm just smiling. I'm just smiling. There's no connection. I'm just smiling.
He's happy to see me happy.
It's very adorable, isn't it?
Cheers,
how did you do it? Come on, tell the pod. This might come out on another video later. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, it was back in before Christmas in December. We had a little period of just like downtime to not tell everyone, so it could just be like our thing for a while. But we went to the restaurant where we first had our first meal together. They forgot to get our cocktails and then charged us for the cocktails. I was already stressed enough, and I really needed a drink. So that was great. But then we did the Blenheim Palace illuminated light trail, which was very nice. And my brother had gone like the year previously with his partner, and said like there was a good spot to try and do it. And he said it was like one of the like water fountain featurey bits. And obviously I'd not done the trail before myself, so I was like nervously walking through, just waiting for the main event,
looking for this spot.
There was a couple of bits where I was like, is this the spot? I'm not sure. But yeah, eventually found the spot to do it. Randomly just said, hello mate, to a stranger, can you take a picture?
All right, I thought you meant Emily.
No. Hello,
for a moment I was
I was like, yeah, do you mind taking our picture? I was like, oh, by the way, I'm also proposing. He was like, so much pressure. But
did you force that person to wait there to like take photos for longer? Then they were like expecting a nice quick photo, but then all of a sudden you took 5 minutes to get to your knee. And this poor person's just there going, oh god.
I got down fine. It was the getting up that was the issue. No, he did a good job, even though like it was sprung upon him. I know, yeah, it all went really well. So yeah.
No, amazing. Congratulations.
Emily's already like demonically going through all the planning stages. She's way ahead of the game already. So yeah, early 2027.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Amazing. And I mean the photos that you did share, those were more recent, right?
Yeah. So it was we took, I don't know. It's an Americanism, I think. Taking engagement photo shoot is what we did.
I did it.
No, yeah. I don't think. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow Laura did it for their wedding invites.
Yeah, I mean that's more or less the function of these pictures. They're going to be on our save the dates and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you tell James you were going to dress like him?
Yeah.
For your photos?
Borrowed his wardrobe.
Great.
I'm joking. It was love. They were lovely photos.
I haven't actually seen them.
Oh yeah.
Harriet will show me tonight. I remember when it happened, and obviously Emily told Harriet how it happened, and it was very kind of momentous and romantic. And Harriet always likes to remind me of the fact that I asked her to marry me when we were in bed, and I put the ring essentially in the baby's crib that was right next to us on like Christmas Eve. And she was so bewildered at the time. It was like in the middle of the night, and I was trying to make sure that the baby hadn't swallowed the ring and whatever. But it was so it's I don't know. I feel like she's always wanted the more grandiose announcement rather than just like
momentous and grandiose.
Yeah. Big words. But I she likes to.
Thesaurus is still coming in, isn't it?
Yeah. She likes to remind me.
Your thing.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, congratulations, Joe. You've got a lot to look forward to, as I can attest. And Ben's been engaged for a while now as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly on this poke that you played then. So you cubed, I'm assuming, at this stage.
Yes.
Keeping with the theme of weddings and what you guys have been up to. Did you try Jack? Jack tried to pull together that other game that was like.
So this is the cube we did.
Yeah, Jack's cube was the only cube I did, unfortunately.
Was the only one we brought.
Was it? Oh, did you not bring yours?
I thought you brought your cube.
No, I ran Jack. I played Jack's one 4 times.
Oh wow! Okay.
Was it that good, or that was just
that it's a quick draft. I wanted to test it, and yeah. So Jack adapted a 2-player drafting experience that was published by TCG, which is like standard formats, non-rule boxes, singleton, with an interesting, because it's 2-player. It was 5-card packs. You would draft 1. Then pass the pack over. The next person would draft 2 from the 4-card pack, and then you're forcing 2 cards to that next person. So that's an interesting drafting mechanic. Obviously, we played 4 people in the draft, so we just did 10-card packs and a normal.
Yeah, normal.
But Jack basically did an expanded version of that, like doubled the card pool or whatever. We would draft 40 cards, build 40-card decks, and play 4 prize, whatever. And it was really easy to get into. It had like enough nonsense that was fun. It had like enough depth that it felt like you were still impacting your decisions in the draft. So it was just like a good feeling cube, and we were experimenting with it just to sort of see how it felt. And I think ultimately what they've constructed with the 2-player is a really good fun time, and I think Jack's gonna have fun adapting with a few notes now from me and the other people who drafted it. Like there were some things that were overtuned probably. At least or like maybe some things were watered down in a 4-player that may have been good in a 2-player, because you have like more control over what you could draft together, like synergy wise. Like there was a massive Rockets package, for example, and in a 2-player, I think that's probably stronger than a 4-player. But yeah, so some notes to go back with. But ultimately, I think it's a really nice, like it fit in an ETB, so it's something that you could actually run in a couple of hours. You get your round robin in, and you're just happy with that, and that's exactly what it was. So it served the purpose really well.
Nice. Sounds like a nice intro to like a whole draft kind of experience or cubing.
That's exactly what it is. It really is, and I really love that that's the direction that TCG is going, because drafted I think is still my favorite way to have ever experienced Pokemon. So
yeah,
I mean we all love a good draft, and we know how time consuming it can take. So just getting one of those quick ones in is actually quite an interesting take. I mean, it is similar to when we did like, remember Maze's
his
Pokemon Pocket Cube.
Yeah,
which is again like an interesting concept. Not like your one, Ben, when we didn't have energy cards to actually play a match.
No. I did get energy in the end though, so don't worry about that.
But then, haven't you dismantled it since?
Yeah, I've dismantled it, but I really do, much like Joe described there, the 4-man cube, quite kind of quick, snappy way of playing cube, because cube is a format that I've always been a big fan of. I think ever since Joe introduced me to it years and years and years ago. Of course, all of our friends have kind of either made their own cube, their own iterations, or their own sort of different styles or approaches to building one. And I think for a long time we were in at least 6 to 8 man cubes always. None of us had ever touched lower than 6. Maybe actually the SP cube, the 2-player one, which I know Connor built, or I don't know if you built it, Joe. But when I built the retro one, I had in mind that a 4-man So in order to have the still fun drafting element, but the playing just a really quick round robin, and that's it. Because not to focus too much on the drafting side of it, because although that's a big draw into playing cube, but also to have kind of an equilibrium to say that I just want kind of this very fast interactive method of playing. But yeah, I will make a new one soon. I want to make a standard one, and I wanted to maybe even explore.
You want to copy Jack's one? Is that?
No, not one like Jack's. Maybe a bit earlier, maybe like Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield.
Didn't you just say standard?
Okay, well, not standard then. I don't know. And I wanted to explore the idea that Joe had, which was the Team Rockets cube. That would be really cool, because I feel like we've had enough Team Rockets cards now to don an entire 4-man format of that, for sure.
We definitely do.
Yeah. Bring back retro and then middle and then standard, of course.
I mean, there's so many different ideas, right? Everyone's, as you kind of mentioned, there's a whole host of sort of resources available for cubing and so on. I mean, I think I just like the idea of draft. I mean, most recent one I've done has been in a different game in Riftbound, both in a I guess not sanctioned event, but a more an event put on at Bologna where there was a draft. But then I did my own box kind of draft and open and draft build against other people's with their boxes. Is kind of a very different experience, but it's like it just opens your eyes to so many different cards or card pools that you don't typically get access to. So yeah, love that. Shame I had to miss it, but it is what it is.
I love that Pokemon are giving it more recognition, but I
mean, we know that people within the company really love it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Do you remember they tried it at one of the events? They tried it. They needed like donations effectively of like bulk.
Yeah,
but I don't think they got enough or something like that, and it was just. I mean,
that's the real challenge, right? Because it's so much effort for them to have more than one thing running at a time, just by their card pool restrictions. That is the main challenge. You have to really put a lot of effort in just to get this one side event going. That could be done so much easier in every other way that they've already come up with.
I will touch on one more thing. It's just kind of interesting to hear your takes on it, because. So I'm going to compare like going to a Pokemon event, which we've obviously all been going to for a number of years now. So we tend to I tend to go to the event, do the main event, and then tend to go off and do my own thing if I had the opportunity to, rather than hang around. But for Bologna, for Riftbound, I was there for the whole Riftbound event, right? So I was doing sides, I was doing different registrations for different sort of types of events, which is like a throwback to me going to a Pokemon event way back when.
Yeah.
Like, is it these different types of sort of side events that we need to be happening to like kind of entice the crowd? We usually have the massive league cups or something, or challenges or something like that. Obviously there are quite a few others, like under the Sisterhood challenges and the Epic Splash that they've kind of taken in now. Is that what's kind of missing, because these tournaments are so big now? To like keep people just staying within the whole event in the hall and involved in everything.
They've definitely become a lot more casual, haven't they? The side events. They've cut for EOST, they cut the cup this year, which I think has actually been happening for the past couple of years, where they've cut the cups. Because I can't remember the last regional I went to where they had a cup the second day, like a sanctioned cup. They have had them.
They've had best of one cups.
The last one I played was like Liverpool, like maybe 3 years ago, which was also best of one. But I feel like they just definitely got more of a, I don't know, they're more like themed. I don't know. It would be silly for me to say that they're too fun. You know what I mean? Like if
they held more of these like kind of similar to other games, like these kind of draft formats or sealed box formats, I guess similar to kind of like a pre-release, I suppose.
I mean, they did a spin.
Would that entice you guys to like hang around and play those more rather than?
I definitely like the pre-release idea. Like, I feel like there's been so many missed opportunities when there's been an end of format in terms of like a new set come out but it's not yet legal. Where if they had proper distribution channels, they could get those pre-release things like allocated. I mean, that's the challenge, right? It's not that they don't want to, it's about getting the allocation,
it's the logistics,
like predetermined or whatever. And in a big quantity, like it would be way more than any store or whatever. But I think that would be a big draw to people. I do think, I mean, Pokemon is uniquely challenging in terms of like most other TCGs are easier to draft, or at least finagle a way to draft from. So we have to do the weird like Ditto or one pack pick a pack stuff. Like it's so like toned down and different and whatever. That's mostly like a query with the booster pack design, but that's never going to change, right?
No.
As much as I'd love it to, and as much as I've wanted to make videos about that, in a lot of ways, and I have big notes about that sort of stuff, and I've thought about it in real detail after looking at other TCGs and stuff. But I just don't think it's something that Pokemon is necessarily interested in.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess it's the whole concept of like being pretty well versed in where they are right now as a trading card game.
But even things like, I mean, it was disappointing that like old format and GLC were almost being pushed away. There were notes on that. Was that for EYC? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, the
those sorts of spaces,
the retro format, which they didn't want to use the space. Unfortunately, didn't want to use the space for, or like they had to. I don't know what the actual rules were, but they couldn't have it in the hall.
It's this weird thing where like a lot of the time the companies that are running these tournaments, they make their money on side events a lot of the time. So the people using the hall space for the retro and the stuff, you can see why they're like kind of frustrated by them being there. But if there could be some sort of collaboration, if we could have a prize pool like brought to the table for these things and make them more like official retro 4-round Swiss or whatever, or this, that, and the other. I mean, it is like difficult on judges and stuff, and it was quite unique in that regard. So there are challenges as to why it's like not happening right now, even though it feels like on paper like such a like an obvious idea. It's those sorts of resources that would be like an issue as soon as you bring prizing into it. That would have to almost be treated like a sanctioned tournament, right? So these are the main like hurdles as to why it's not happening more. But I think like everyone wants to see that stuff, right? There's so many old heads. There's so many people who want to do these little fun deck building restrictions and challenges and all this sort of stuff. Like we've just seen like even things like Professor's Cups are so well received within the community that like give someone a deck building challenge and they'll spend weeks on it just for that little bit of kudos and fun between friend groups. And I think we would be the same within our friend groups. If we just have a day for a certain X sort of challenge, we would all come with our competitive decks and whatever restrictions we had. So there is that yearning for it in the community. It's just making it come together correctly with like the right resources.
Yeah. Fair. We've probably touched enough on that at the moment. So, I mean, we've gone far beyond the time I was expecting for all of this natter. I mean, I don't want to spend too long on Seattle anyway, but I feel like that's a quick point to sort of quickly look into, because it was the last of major event of quote unquote the format before Extended Heroes was legal. I don't know, Ben, what you have currently sharing on screen, if you have anything right now.
There you go.
But yeah, the last major event over in North America. Do you have the meta breakdown on that?
Yeah. I have top 5 for the listeners at home.
Just very quickly.
Just go through Dragapult Dust Noir, 14%, Goldengo Lunatone, 13.5, then Gardevoir at 9%, Mega Absol Box at 8, and then Charizard Noctowl 7.
So it feels like just 5. Very quickly, like big jumps up. Joe, you've probably covered this already in the video, so TLDR, I felt like
you haven't?
Bothered?
You
lazy son of a what?
I don't think I've known a format where people have rejoiced at its end so much, because I feel like everybody was bored to death of this format.
We'll discuss it in a moment whether it's truly ended yet, but Absol uptick in numbers, Dragapult being above Golden Go, which is obviously another big surprise, even though it's kind of semi-matching. That's the meta. I mean, generally we roughly know what we're kind of going into that format, what kind of decks we're likely to hit anyway. We did have a top cut ASIM as well. Do you want to quickly just rattle through those decks, Ben?
Yeah, 2 moments. Let me just run through it.
Find it.
What you want me to? Sorry, what did you want me to run down?
Just the top cut. The 12 decks.
Oh, okay. All right, 2 seconds. Hang on. Sorry, we're working. Hang on, we're working. The decks, did you say?
He's loading it.
You
can start going.
2 Grimstar Frostlass, 3 Absol Box, 1 Dragapult Dust Noir, 1 Joltik Box, Raging Bolt, 1 Gardevoir, 1 Charizard Pidgeot, and 1 Charizard Noctowl. Makes our top 12.
Yeah.
We ended up with a final of Grant Shen with Absol, if I'm not mistaken, against True Win.
Yeah, True and Tran,
I saw plenty of social media posts because True and Tran, who's related to a very well-known other Tran as well, but he was playing in the final. It was Dawnzard that did end up taking the championship home. So Dawnzard's taking another regional, which is actually another way, kind of roundabout way, following the Stuttgart victory with Nikolai as well, which is really cool. But yeah, Grant Shen unfortunately not taking the victory there. Any real big surprises? I don't know if you watched it, Joe or Ben.
Yeah, I watched a good amount of it actually. Watched a good chunk of Seattle. I think for main storylines, like Joltik getting a top 8 is pretty surprising. That's sort of been the forgotten man for a while. And I suppose just like the continued success of Absol, with it being the 4 of the top 12, just shows that it really is one of those top contenders after EUIC. Not necessarily just a medical, or like if other people are just taking on the Toad Scroll, now it's a well-rounded choice into all the top stuff. Being really good at like bullying most Guardian Dragadusks, I think it's pretty fair to say. And then figuring it out against the other stuff. Charizard Noctowl, obviously one of the more difficult matchups for it, even with the Watchtower tech that Grant chose to play and a few others are choosing to play. So I'm sure it was like a fairly balanced final, but ultimately Turin coming away with the results, which is pretty cool to see. And yeah, only 1 Dragondusk, only 1 Gardevoir, and obviously no Golden Go either. Kind of really debunking that big 4 myth that was going around like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think that's pretty fair to say that it's been debunked.
I think it was just kind of the right moment for certain decks to kind of come into the format, right? I mean, we've even seen with the Grimmsnarl just kind of coming up with a pretty good win rate against sort of quote unquote the better decks.
Certainly the more popular decks. Yeah.
And yeah, 2 in the top 12 was always kind of interesting to see. The 1 Guardi, I guess, is kind of interesting considering the amount of success it's had over its years, and we'll cover it at some point over the rotation, even more detail as well again.
Yeah.
And then we've seen like players like Andrew Hedrick championing that Dragapult Dusknoir, or Julius Brunfeld from EU. They're piloting that Charizard list that is very well known across the Finnish players as well. So
yeah,
great tournament. But I think, like everyone else, like you've already mentioned, Ben, happy to see the end of it because it was a bit extended, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and it definitely felt it, didn't it? By the end, I think of this format, I think everybody was not just looking forward to rotation, but also just more new cards to play with. I think it's just an element of both sides, really. But yeah, that was I feel like that was definitely thought by everyone. I don't know if I spoke to one person who not enjoying the format, but not ready to kind of move on, let's say. I think everybody was just ready.
Interested from both of you. I don't know if you guys have noticed recently in your local like league cups and stuff. Have you seen that what the numbers are like in your areas? I know because you have a load of shops in Wales, for example.
Yeah. So
there have been league cups recently. I don't know. Has it been popular?
Yeah, there was one cup this weekend actually. That obviously I didn't go to because I was up in North Wales, but at least in Wales, the scene is still there. I mean, there's still a lot of people attending league cups. I think just like every other season, you'll start to see attendance kind of drop down a little bit towards the end of the season, but just because people will start getting a little bit of an expectation as to how they're going to finish at the end of the year and whether it's not worth it to attend maybe league cups and maybe just taking it back until next year. But no, it's still as popular as ever.
Okay, your side as well, Joe. The only reason why I'm asking this is because I play down the south coast when I can because it's easy for me to get out of London. I think it was like 9 players for a local league cup, which is a bit of a shame. Which felt like really small. But I don't know if again is the effects of the format, for example, or the effects of everyone wanting to start thinking about a bit of Ascended Heroes or even beyond that with
I think what I will say, I think South Wales is a bit of an anomaly because we do have so many shops around us, and there are, you know, kind of smaller communities in each of those shops that will travel around each of, you know, the others to play. So I think attendance in South Wales will always be high because of that. So I don't know whether, you know, like I said, that trend of a decrease in popularity is kind of felt in your area specifically, but I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not much help. I've not been going to locals recently.
I don't think any of us have.
Maybe that's an answer in its own rights.
It's just for an interesting point to raise.
We were discussing this weekend because Reese said, "Who's got their invite this year?" And
I was going to say who raised the idea of going to a North Wales Cup.
I think we all.
One of you guys.
I think we all sighed, but I think it's only Tamao, really, isn't it? Who's going for it?
Track, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's probably enough Seattle.
Yeah, say again.
Enough Seattle.
We're just casuals.
We are. I am.
We're ace trainers. That's it.
Yeah.
If that.
Healthy ace trainers.
Huh?
If that.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice if I actually got mine. So anyway, I haven't heard anything since. Someone else posted. Actually, that was underrated. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was like Tate Whitesell or something like that. But they posted like an open packet as well.
Yeah.
But their one was inside.
Oh.
But on their packaging, it didn't say that it was anything Pokemon or anything related. But on my one, it says trading card.
Oh no!
I guess through customs to come over to.
Yeah, they've had to have been.
So immediately swiped.
Did you find out if anybody else from the UK got that trading card stamp?
I mean, I'm sure it's not just exactly Alex's. I'm sure it would be.
Yeah, it seems unlikely.
Yeah, I must have. Yeah.
I'm just assuming because
on top.
I'm just assuming because it's through customs that they obviously normally know what it is, right?
Yeah.
Have to.
And yeah, mine. If for all the listeners who are listening to this, I did get a Ace Trainer package. I think. I'm assuming because everyone else got something similar, and mine was open. And didn't have anything inside it. So I'm currently Ace Trainerless right now. All my hard work.
You are in your heart though. In your heart of hearts, you are an Ace Trainer.
In my heart, I'm broken. I'm just a trainer.
I'm
no
a broken
ace.
man.
I'm just a trainer. Like the rest of you.
Exactly. Right. So speaking about this format, so the big reason why we haven't really had any changes was because Ascended Heroes was delayed in release and legality of play. But this past weekend, we did have our first major event in San Juan in Puerto Rico. I don't know, Ben, if you have brought up the PTCG stats.
No, I haven't, but I'll get it up there.
But look, there wasn't a lot of data. It's not been fully publicized yet. I think these details are ones that have just been caught from people watching the streams that was actually going on over the weekend. I know Azul actually had co-streamed it or restreamed it as well, which was good. Again, sort of more eyes, more opportunities to see Pokemon is always a great thing, and Azul does a great thing by doing that. Whilst Ben is
I've got it. I got the standings. Yeah, I got the standings.
Right, just say the top 8 for us, just so we know. This is the impact of Ascended Heroes, apparently. So
right, I'll go from 8. Felipe Luna, Vincent Owen, Gabriel Perez, Zach Elliott, Joseph Berg, Jonathan Balick, Ross Cawthorne, and Miguel Garcia.
Right.
Now the deck list.
Do you mean the decks? Well, I don't have the decks, do I?
The impact of Ascended Heroes.
I don't have the decks.
Well, how about we do it then?
Okay.
How did you find the decks?
Sarah-Ledge final.
It was the Sarah-Ledge final, yeah.
How did you find the decks?
There was 2 Dragadusks, 1 in top 4, 1 in top 8. There was 2 Frostlass Monkey Dory decks, 1 in top 4, 1 in top 8. 1 Enzoroark, which of course gains the Zekrom, and it was a Zekrom focus build with no other Enz men to copy. And there was a Gongo Lunatone. Yeah, and we only have a couple of lists so far, and it's mostly just trawled through from tweets from the players themselves.
Just if anyone does want to see what's been posted up so far, if you do go on PTCGstats.com, major event data, if you click on San Juan SPE, or special championships, what it should be. You'll be able to see some of the data that's there. Ben,
Yeah. That's what I had, but I didn't
Ben.
find deck lists.
Well, next to their name,
not deck.
what's there?
It's literally
Where?
just not bolded next to their names. It says their score and then what deck they were playing.
I've got record and points.
What's crazy? What website are you
I'm
on?
on Poker Data.
Which is not what we said.
We literally sent a link. Oh.
Where's it? Poker Stats.
Forget Sorry for anyone who's watching.
I've already
this.
So yeah, a Sarah Ledge final, not something necessarily expected. I haven't seen the lists, but I can't imagine there's anything from Ascended that helps them.
I've got it.
I know Ross has played Sarah Ledge for a few months now, so I imagine he's just one of the stronger players in that room, and went far with a deck he knows pretty well. There's 367 players in the room, masters in the room. So obviously it's a much smaller tournament out in Puerto Rico. And his is the name that sort of jumps off the page. There are some of the strong players there, like Vincent Owen, for example, that jump off the page in the top 8. But some players that I'm sort of less familiar with as well in that mix.
But I go a bit further down, you might see some more of the North Americans who have travelled down.
Yeah, I see Lashmet, I see Hunter, I see Jose Marrero. Some strong names in there, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Frostlass Monkey Door is probably the most obvious change, right? Because Ascended brings us a 70-hit-point Snow Runt and also brings us Poker Pad, and both are big upgrades to the deck. And I'm not sure if they were, but there is also the option to play Mega Frostlass EX.
Yeah,
I think the one list I've seen doesn't have it. Is it playing it?
I don't see it.
This is akin. We're just both tilting at the same tweet. But I think this is similar to, say, like Sanders' list that he was playing pre-Ascended, where it's heavy Budu focus, has the Tinglu, and rather than going down like a big TM evolution route, you just say that PokerPad can get you your guys in a timely fashion, and you would rather commit your energy onto monkeys on the bench that are safer to make the most out of your flinging of damage. I don't think this list had the Tinglu EX. I think that's a really important card in the deck, actually, but yeah, I played a lot because I was playing. I was trying all sorts of PokerPad lists when Ascended first came out, and Frostlass Monkey Dory is by far the most playable that I've used, and I actually preferred it to Grimmsnarl in my own testing and sort of how much control you had over the games. So I do genuinely think it's a real true contender. The data online that we've seen so far for the deck doesn't necessarily suggest that, but I don't think people are playing the list with the right text necessarily. Things like Iron Bundle are a big deal to help beat God of War Jelly, for example, and stuff like that. I think will be trickling out as it becomes a more well-known threat. But I think this is a really strong archetype.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my only limited testing of user PokerPad was with Grimmsnarl and effectively Frostlass Monkey Dory. Just because.
How many did you even play? Did you just play one pad in Grim?
I think I tried to shoehorn 2 in where I could. But why it ended up being a very much a Badu Frostlass Monkey Dory deck.
Right. And every now and then you can bullet something.
Weave in trying to weave in a Grimmsnarl, which is why I then started trying a bit more Frostlass Monkey Dory. But yeah, I mean, we already know, and I think we don't need to speak about it too much, but Ascended Heroes didn't really bring too much or too many changes, right? We already kind of mentioned the Zekrom that's come in, which is obviously a big plus for Enzorok EX, and then the PokerPad. And is there one more card? I don't know.
I feel Spectria is very good for God of War. It's a better monkey killer than Screamtail because you're less vulnerable to other monkeys coming at you, or just a Pulp coming at you and punishing that, or Grimmsnarl or whatever else. Basically, it's just the best monkey killer we have now. And there's so much monkey that's a big upgrade for God of War. But it feels like God of War is going to be facing down more dark stuff with Grimmsnarl getting upgrades and Zora getting upgrades. So that's something to be aware of. But I think in a vacuum, Spectra definitely makes the best performing Guardy decks going forward. And I suppose if you want to talk about Team Rocket's Honchkrow, you can. I think it's a much better deck post row than now, because I think it's still very vulnerable to INO, just inherently the Rocket's engine is. But I think skipping forward to a world where you get stamped once and have to survive that one turn, I think it's a much more real deck. But for me, it's Snowrun exists, PokerPad exists. and Zekrom are the big three, and Spectria becomes a one-off, I think, in like 80% of Guardies.
I just really like Pokepad just because it opens up so many opportunities for single prize decks to come back on the scene now.
I don't actually really agree with that sentiment.
Do you not?
I know it raises the floor of the jank, but I think it mostly improves Dragapults. So,
yeah, I suppose
like the ultimate punishing deck.
Like, I suppose it's the balance, right? Yeah, because you still have decks that are 2 prize or top 4 that can still abuse Pokepad like Dragapult. So it's whether you have that balance, but I guess it's all about how much you can carry single prize decks in the format. Like, I don't know, say Alakazam or whatever it is. Alakazam was already an okay play, but with Pokepad, surely it's just better, right?
Yeah, I mean, it bricks a lot less.
Same as Frostlass Monkey Dory. I know it's got.
Yeah, but the difference is, like, Frostlass was not really a functioning deck, and now it is. And its matchups were good, whereas Alakazam had bad matchup and was already functioning, and like functions more, but still has the bad matchups. So you don't actually, your matchups are still like really weak, I think.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, the takeaway from at least this San Juan Puerto Rico event, Ross Corfon looks to seem to have maybe locked up at yet another Worlds invite, which is kind of cool. One of the effectively OGs in this game now, and someone's name that we always seem to see at every single World Championships, which is always good. It's always a good thing to see like a regular player being able to do that. But is there anything to take from this tournament going into a Ascended Heroes?
There's no Olive in Top Cut.
Not
from what I can see. So was it a lie? Right? Was it a lie?
Yeah, I think you're too.
Oh no, yeah, it is. Yeah, ignore me. I only say that because I saw he was on stream round 2. So yeah.
What?
It was on round 2 on the page.
I guess it's one of those things where like people may start to play certain decks ahead of rotation, right?
Yeah.
So that they can get more. That's why maybe
there's a lot of Mega Lucario online right now. Yeah, it's exactly that reason. Yeah.
It's Mega Lucario, it's potentially Haunch Crow. I guess it's the Olive. But yeah, okay. So no, there's not much to take away from this tournament. I guess it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a relatively smaller tournament. So maybe we don't get to see as many ideas. A lot of players are again piloting what they know, because we've already highlighted the kind of Golden Go decks, or I think there was a Mega Absol, or the kind of Dragapults that were already in good sort of standings at that event as well. So it hasn't changed too much. But I guess this is one of the more interesting things, right? Because now that we have it legal, we still have 5 weeks worth of sort of major events to come. 5 majors. I believe. I think you might have the list of sort of tournaments up there, Ben.
Yeah.
That are upcoming. Probably don't need to touch on this too much, but we've already mentioned that this is a set that kind of was pushed back and delayed because of all of the, I guess, delays in actually getting the product to people into their hands and the struggle, because initially it was supposed to be ready for EUIC, right? And that was like 3 weeks ago now. Right
was
decision?
It just 3 weeks ago?
I mean,
years ago. Man.
Yeah, was it the right decision? It felt like at the time heading into UIC, and we probably haven't spoken about this in too much detail before, but they did push it back because of all these delays, supposedly. But it felt like a lot of people were still able to get them. At the same time, Pokepad seems to have a really low pull rate from anything that people seem to open. But we're giving credit to Pokemon for actually making that decision and getting to this stage now where we're only going to have a month's worth of Ascended Hero tournaments.
Yeah, I think this is the lesser of two evils, to be honest. I don't think you can talk about your experience when they had to think about the entire player base, especially with a traveling player base as well, who effectively like lose a few days to try and get those cards and get them. Like most people are trying to get them in the mail, right? If they're not going to like card shows, or like the scramble for vendors on the day would have been crazy, and you don't want to see just like random scalping of Ascended product on the hope you can punt for a pad, otherwise your tournament's over. Like I don't think that would have been a good feeling situation for people, or just like the fact that you had to run a Dragger Duskless without pads, and then you face someone who has them, and it's like, oh, I just feel so much worse. Like I feel like this is definitely the right line of thinking, and ultimately it's not a main set, it's a special set, right? So
oh yeah, true.
And with only like a handful of cards, I don't think it matters too much that it's a smaller format. Like we had things like Crown Zenith for like 3 months, and that was a set that came with like 2 new cards, and we were like, it's boring anyway. Like I don't think it's a big problem.
Yeah, I agree. I think if there's any sort of concern about logistics or whether the player base can get access to the cards, they have to make that decision in my eyes. Just because, like Joe said, it's you really don't want to have a feels bad situation because you're banking on playing an optimal list, but you can't get the cards and feels bad, and now you have to pay.
Accessibility is like never a reason for someone to have an advantage.
Yeah,
right? It should never be.
I in my eyes, I feel like that's the reason why we don't have expanded anymore, right? It's just because I know it's a different argument altogether, but I feel like
it's a good point.
I feel like
cards are 11 years old now, right? Or
I feel like Pokemon
14 years old.
Yeah,
years old.
I feel like Pokemon always make the right decision when it comes to accessibility. Like I think if we get expanded back, I know I'm going on to that point, but I think if we get expanded back, they have to make almost like a format change to like I don't know, maybe
start
XY onwards or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, expand the product that will go down like.
Yeah, they can't do that. Surely.
They'd have to do new artworks for every single one.
Can you imagine?
Some of us would love it.
Yeah,
but if they new artworked everything, I'd be well up for that.
I feel like all in all they
more
made
money, printing money now.
I feel like all in all they made the right decision, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
I mean that's fair. I mean, do you guys think? Again, last question on this. Do you guys think they ever have it in mind with the releases and the tournament sort of dates that it was supposed to like work out, and it just so happened that unfortunately logistically they couldn't get the product out there?
I think they want things. I think they generally keep in mind things like international championships as flagship tournaments. They want them to be first of formats, or previously they've been rotation formats, and it helps generate hype, right? It helps generate views to have it be the first of something rather than the last of something. But I know that's not always the case for LAICs, but
could it have been better if they had the release of Ascended Heroes like as it was supposed to be, but still set the date of the first major event an extra week or 2 later, so that they.
I mean, maybe it's something they think about now going forward. I mean, they've just bought a huge, like the biggest card like factory in all of the US. So I think they're trying to redress their availability issues first, which is probably the right way to distribution issues. Which is probably the right way of going about it.
And that's not just
still be secondary.
It's not just for playing, right? They're increasing their printing capacity. It's also many other reasons, mainly collectible reasons, right? Because I think America still has that scalping problem. I see it kind of all the time. Harriet always shares with me a video or a TikTok of somebody battering somebody else in a Walmart over some sort of card.
I mean, that's always a litmus test, right? When the general non-Pokemon playing population hear about the break-ins and the scams and the like trolley full of things, that there's a problem there when the general populace is hearing about it and not just like the people in the game know about these little things.
My like Christine's been telling me to, and not for the fear of break-in, it's just because she doesn't want it in the house, but to start to put it into storage and put it all my stuff somewhere else. And I'm like, it'll be so sad, but I feel like it's getting to a point where maybe actually it's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah. It is, because I think whose fellas somebody's house got broken into, didn't they? Some big
Pokédean.
Big big collector.
Really?
Big collector.
Yeah. Was it Chloe? Is it Poke?
Yeah. I think it's the guy who runs the store or something. I don't know.
But I think I can't remember when it was, but their house got broken into, or his house got broken into, and all his product was.
I saw it online.
Pretty much targeted, I guess. But again, that's also the fear of like if you are in that kind of content creation, you're typically showing off a lot of your stuff. You're not obviously giving away your address and things, but there's a lot of details out there that makes it a bit of an easier target. It's a scary world out there right now, and that's not even talking about all the other stuff that's happening. But yeah, with regards to Pokemon cards, it's definitely a fear. I mean, do you have yours in like some stuff in storage, Joe?
some stuff. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's good. I'm glad. I need to think about my stuff. I don't even know what to think about. Anyway, let's move on. We're talking about Ascended Heroes still. Or are we? I don't think there's really much else to really touch on that. We've looked at
Not really.
There is a schedule coming up for 5 major events. We've got Seville coming up in a couple of weeks' time, which would be really interesting from our perspective. I think there's a couple of other.
We're back to normal now, aren't we? Really?
I guess the debate is like, just from a very simple vibe check, like what's stonking after Ascended? Like what's the big on the ups and what's the big like on the downs if we're looking at like the top 10 decks or something?
Just trying to see here.
Do you think the dark stuff like overwhelms Gardevoir? Is it like a reason to not play Guardy? But potential Grim and Zorro and even Frostmonkey to an extent. Actually, Frostmonkey's one of your better matchups unless they play the Tinglu.
Well, there's a lot more threats on the board, isn't there, for Gardevoir in the format in terms of dark Pokemon.
It's one of those things where you can't really just like how big are those percentages, and we don't know until we fully have those larger.
I mean, this is why I'm just trying to give a temperature gauge rather than a.
If you were a Guardy player, if you were a long-time Guardy player, would you worry about that necessarily?
I mean, I'd probably bung in a Diancie and crack on.
Yeah, exactly. That's the current thinking, right? Because this card pool that's come out with Ascended Heroes, yes, it's made those dark decks have a maybe better out to their kind of typical strategies, or just have slightly better cards in Zoroark, or just. I think you're still hitting a wide enough field that you don't have to typically worry about those, especially if you go into like a North American event or Seville, for example, or Seville, however you want to pronounce it. It's one of those where you have to think about like you're only playing 8 rounds day one, and then you're hitting the kind of quote unquote top of the metas in phase 2, as it were. So yeah, you're playing something that you're comfortable with, especially with the card pool as large as it is.
I think the decks that I've enjoyed pad most in have been Pult Zard and Pult Dusk.
This is not your 10 deck video of just like all of PokéPad only decks.
Yeah.
No.
None of those made the cut. No.
Real life decks.
I mean, I feel like even if it's Zard adding in 2 pads, its reliability is its biggest issue, because it's basically trying to be the 50-50 deck of the format, right? You have the type coverages to cover yourself. You have the 2 good attacks in the game, right? I feel like that deck really benefits from pad quite a lot. And then Dragadusk just has less whiff potential. Like if you saw the Seattle game with Hedrick up against Jolsit Box, where he was just like lillying and fezzing and just whiffing cloaks and just dying on the spot. So it was like so tragic to see, even though you have those outs, but now you get the +2 outs and you should basically always get multiple cloaks down and get rolling. And that's when that deck gets more reliability, it's just so scary, right? We know it has that pop-off potential. I feel like Dragadusk is again like pulling away as the Bidif.
It's one of the reasons why I kind of hated playing that deck, and last time I played it,
exactly. You see some absolute guff with that deck. Yeah,
it's just outrageous, and I felt like it was more often than not. But then other people are running away of doing super well with it. But hey ho, I guess it's one of those where I don't know. In terms of like, have you seen any other content creators put up a tier list right now of this Ascended Heroes format and what they think? I don't know if
I've seen like a top 10 and stuff like that, but it's not really.
Yeah, it's still expect, right? it's still the same. It's still the same. I don't think the big 4 changes at all, really.
Still calling it a big 4.
Well,
that's crazy.
I don't know. Am I?
That's live under a rock.
He's got no Twitter, Joe. Leave him alone, all right?
I know. I don't.
He's oblivious to what's happening.
I have been living under a rock.
Put Absol Box up in that echelon.
Well, that's why I was. My eyebrow was raised. I don't know. Would you put it?
You should have said any other random.
Would you put it as part of
came out with?
Would you put it? Would you put it as a top 5 now? I don't know. I mean, the thing is with Absol Box, I know we're touching on it.
Manatan Dustmar.
No.
Forget about that.
I know we're touching on.
That is a big upgrade to that deck, Ben. You cannot deny that.
What's that?
PokéPad is a big upgrade.
It's huge. It's a 4 of, if anything.
Yeah.
What I would say. What was that? What was it again? Seattle. What I would say is that Seattle did represent Absol becoming a little bit more consistent in terms of representation. like around 8%.
Yeah,
is it not?
Well, it just had a massive EUIC performance, right?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that it's never really had that consistency in terms of representation at that higher level. So maybe you would put it as a possible top 5.
Oh, you're warming to the idea.
I don't know. I am warming to the idea.
After looking at the data,
I'm doing analysis. Can you imagine?
Thank you.
Imagine. Thank you.
Boys.
Right, I'll log off now.
Right, okay. I think that's enough Ascended Heroes. There was one other thing. I think thinking back to EUIC, there was another major change back to our actual tournament structure. I just wanted to get a feel from your side, Joe, because obviously as players, me and Ben had to play through the new reversal back to 50 minutes plus 3 turns at EUIC. Obviously, at the start of the year, we had this change to its +1 turns and this hard cap of 10 minutes. Initially, it kind of went through this wave of like positive and sort of negative kind of sentiment against it throughout the few tournaments. Well, I said number of tournaments we had in the first half of the season. But we went back to +3. I didn't even ask you, Ben. How did it feel for you? Because it felt like the rounds actually took as long as the first time we had +1.
Yeah.
Hard cut off because it was quite lengthy. It was like extra half an hour every time at EUIC. It felt like at one point.
Well, even if you have 3 turns over a strict time given to an extra 1 turn each, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll finish faster. I think if with the rule that they tried to implement with the +1 each but 10 minutes, I think what they're trying to do there is just have a consistent kind of timeline to their tournament. Whereas 3 rounds, it could be, you could go on as long as you like. It doesn't really have a specific cutoff. For me playing, it was a welcome. It was welcome back, really, in my eyes, because I had quite a limited experience when it came to the rule that they tried to put in place, and I didn't really like it as much. I don't know. I feel extra 3 turns, just you're obviously more likely to conclude a game in a result, be it a winner or loss, to I don't know, make for a better experience for the player. But I never hid away from the fact that I was always happy to do as I'm told. If it makes the tournament better in terms of a logistical standpoint, then I'll do whatever Pokemon need to do in order to have the better experience from a tournament perspective rather than playing.
I guess the +3 was.
I'm happy to make that sacrifice. In other words.
But okay, so you prefer the +3, but you at the time when it went to +1, you were happy to sacrifice the extra additional turns.
Yeah, I had the mindset of, I know I'll probably be a little bit disappointed at times playing this system, because it means that I'll come away with a tie when I could have won if I had that extra turn or whatever. But in my mind, I was saying, well, if it means that this tournament is going to run better logistically, and I'm going to get out at a reasonable time, or it means that I have lunch, even though we didn't, but most of the time. But you know what I mean? I'm happy to make that sacrifice.
Sure.
And I never hid away from that fact. I always rather the 3 turns, always, as many other people did. But yeah. I really, my opinion really doesn't, it lacks a bit, I suppose, because I'm not as passionate about the kind of the idea of I want my 3 turns back as many other people are.
Before we do go to Joe, just because obviously he's experienced playing the +1 over in the States as well. From my experience, obviously it was a welcome back, because obviously you get to play a bit more Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like everyone was constantly like kind of keeping an eye on the clock, because I guess it felt like you could semi-manipulate it a little bit more. It's easier to manipulate to kind of get yourself onto that 0 turn,
a lot more
turn,
yeah.
Rather than having to find the nuances of the +3, and then have to deal with like, my opponent having 2 turns to maybe take 3 prizes or 2 prizes or so on. So I definitely get that and why it came back, because there was a lot of pushback initially, and obviously like kind of how the general sentiment kind of went, well, generally mostly negative, I suppose. But at the same time, it didn't go back to the same way it was last year, where with the +3 turns, it did feel like we had a pretty well-oiled system that allowed us to actually kind of get through those rounds in good enough time, because it felt like we were getting out in good time last year with +3. With the +1 change, we had this unfortunate errors at the time, which kind of got alleviated at some stage. And then we went back to kind of this +3, and it was like all of a sudden, maybe it was just because of the number of players, 4,000 man tournament, etc.
Yeah.
But Joe, I don't know if you noticed anything from your side when you were working EUIC, of course, whether it was just
we had a very low amount of ties on broadcast and a very low amount that went 2 turns anyway. So we just had natural games resolving quite a lot, which was just generally good to see in terms of a pace of format thing. But I mean, it's one of those things where they've clearly identified an issue. Even if it's not an issue right now, it's like, our tournaments are growing. We will at some point need to have an extra round on one of these 2 days. How can we get these tournaments running smoother? Like, give ourselves that headroom. So I understand them trying to find the solution, and they've attempted something. They had immediate criticism, so then went on like high alert to change it back. So I welcome the fact that they didn't wait till like the end of the season to make, because it's so easy for them to be like, okay, we'll give it a season, but clearly they like listened to the feedback immediately and were like, okay, we know we have to get this right. We need to prove that it can be working really quickly, and then basically at the first opportunity for them to be like, okay, we've tried it for enough tournaments. We know that it doesn't move the needle enough. It's worth going back because clearly the players would prefer it that way. So I applaud like the speed of which they're getting back to it and how much they're listening to the community feedback, and it shows that we do have some power and that they are listening and watching. But I also understand that they're probably making moves with the idea of growing the game. And that would also, like, most people would also be like, damn, I'd love to see an NAIC of 7k people, like, as an example, right? But that requires extra hours and extra rounds. So they have to logistically make a way for that to happen. So we sort of have to accept that they were taking risks, trying something, applaud them for that. But it's got to be a new solution by the looks of things if they want to really size up this game. And I think everyone can agree that it feels better as a player to be in +3. Like you said, Alex, or like less clock manipulation potential, intended or otherwise. So yeah.
I guess it's like one other thing, because last year we also had like kind of that mid-season change, right? It was the number of rounds,
right?
Also the records to allow people to play more Pokemon. Obviously, the opportunity to make top cut still, but at least was kind of diminished because of it. But it allowed people to play an extra round and then, or potentially make it into phase 2 with a slightly worse record and so on. I guess it's like, would you? I don't know if you felt hard done by it, or have ever felt hard done by so far these 2 mid-season changes. For example, for myself, last year I had a record which I probably could have made phase 2 with, but ended up losing the last round. Unfortunately, so I didn't make phase 2 and like maybe the second or third regional. But then this change would have meant that I would have,
right?
Which then obviously had a slight impact. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, psychologically, it feels kind of nice, especially for like newer players to make their first phase 2 or whatever. But realistically, I feel like if you're at the bottom wedge of phase 2, it's still just an absolute dogfight, and you can end up having a complete wasted day on day 2. I actually think it's better to have the more stringent records, to be honest with you. And I think that we sort of just have to like man up in that regard and be like, okay, just the top 10% of players, not have this crazy weird like 25% of people in phase 2 for 2 rounds, and then they realize they're playing for nothing. Like,
there's definitely a lot more of an element of how did you make day 2? You know, did you make the bare minimum, or did you make did you go 7-1 or whatever it is? There's definitely.
I mean, there's always going to be that argument of people who got in at the bottom and then win like 7 on the bounce or like 5 on the bounce or whatever. So there's going to be an argument from both ways about it. But
I guess where I was kind of coming at this, and I agree with those points as well, was more the fact that it changes what my season, or it changes what some people's season could have been, right? If they've, I'm not going to use myself as an example, but let's say a couple of regionals this first half of the season where they had to play a couple of rounds in phase 1 and it only went to +1 turns. But if they had one more turn, which they typically would have had in +3, they would have won. They would have had the records to proceed in phase 2. If a couple of those went their way, maybe
I feel like you prepare. I feel like you're aware.
Like
you're aware of all of these things before the tournament begins, right? So your deck choice, in theory, can be
true.
Based on like going in, you have the full information at the time. So you're making the most informed decision going into whatever tournament it is. So I don't feel too aggrieved by it. Like even if you're like, oh, okay, I knew I would have won this game. Like for example, in Toronto, I was best of 1ing against Hazard, and I know I win in best of 3. Sure. And that would have been my phase 2. I had 2 chances of phase 2. I tied the first one, lost the second one, right? And that tie is 100% a win. I literally show game from hand, and then we discuss, and we still decide to tie. I knew going into the tournament it was one turn, and I was playing the entire game thinking that I had to rush to give myself as much time as possible. So like every action I made was at the time knowing the rule set, right?
Well, I guess maybe think about it this way then. What about the consistency of a tournament structure throughout the season?
I think ideally they would have kept it like that. I think ideally, but they are clearly outweighing that. They think it's
sure.
Like that consistency and that like simplicity for beginners. Like they clearly would want to have that, and clearly that's a reason to have it for the whole season. But they think that's outweighed by the fact that it's simply better for everyone.
The positive impact if you change it back. Yeah. I mean, it's just an interesting way of kind of thinking about how.
I think in an ideal situation they want to implement something for its season. I think that just makes logical sense.
Mid-season changes aren't always ideal, but I feel like for the greater good, this is
exactly
the direction they take it in.
And generally, their intervention is very, very limited.
I was just playing devil's advocate.
I like, I mean, it's a worthy discussion. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's just something I don't think often too many players or people get to think about. Right, so we have covered a lot on this pod in very sort of small, short segments. So if you have got onto this stage, thank you very much for sticking with us. I do want to obviously now touch on something that obviously we started to see pop off on the old Xverse. I know Rab doesn't see any of this. He's probably clicked those links and it's asked him to sign in.
It's a big shock to him.
But Joe, as someone who is obviously a massive content creator, this is probably like there's a massive impact to you. So take it away. PTCG Live, what have you got for me?
Well, there was this at EUIC on the broadcast. We were publicly advertising the trainer trials as this new upgrade to the learning lab of like this is being advertised as that first place to go if you're a new or returning player after many years to learn how to play the game. And it's obviously an amazing thing, trying to expand the PTCG Live app to be able to bring people back into the game and bring new faces to the game and let people learn in their own time and their own steps and go over certain lessons again if they need to and whatnot. So the fact that exists and is being pushed is great, but the most recent like controversy is that the rotation tool that they have, so they have these like new lessons for like, oh, rotation's coming, cards that you're currently playing can no longer be played. Let's suggest some great new additions to keep your deck as playable as possible. And it has been seen that it is clearly not made by anyone who's either played the game or has ever breathed, because some suggestions included changing Squawkabilly EX to a different basic Pokemon that deals 20 damage and has no ability that could draw any cards at all.
Oh, clearly is an AI tool that's doing it. So I guarantee.
So clearly, there's been suggestions that it's AI. I've only followed the tweets, and other people have mentioned it. I think.
Is it like a different?
Done more research on that.
Yeah, is it like a different Squawkabilly?
I'll share the link with you now if you want to bring it up.
Is it like a different Squawkabilly that it's referencing?
No, it's a random okie dokie. And yeah, like his tweet that goes into it. Like the suggestions of what could come in for Professor's research. Like it's clearly just like something lazily done and no one's double checked the homework, and like it just shows the like lack of connection the live team have to the player base. And I think that's been the ongoing gripe that we've had the last 3 years, like how just
can you send it to me on Discord, Dan?
Difficult it is to make this game any more usable to anyone, not just out of you. Like they've done user-friendly changes, and they like when Destined Rivals came out, they spent all this time on making a new board, and like when a Team Rockets card comes into play, it plays an organ and a light goes on. It's like, why are you doing this and not just making the game work? I've been trying to do friend battles on live with Emily to just test Ascended Heroes. It crashes like every 3 games. You can't play. You still can't play anything outside of standard in a friend battle, which is baffling to me.
Yeah, we discovered that, didn't we?
We discovered that the other day when we were trying to do some fun format stuff and like look back at previous formats. Like the fact that this tool is so much less than PTCGO, which is a client from like 2012 or whatever. Like when did we lose PTCGO? We lost it in like 2019 or something. The fact that it's still less than a client that was usurping is completely unfathomable to me. And I think that this AI thing, it's like a tiny thing in the grand scheme of things. It's such an easy fix, but the fact that it's like so sloppy and lazy and no one's double checking the homework, and like it just really highlights like the lack of care that's being put into this game, which is really just sad when ultimately it should be the shop window for anyone getting into the game, and the fact that it's not being treated as such is truly bizarre to me.
I know so many players who do not touch the client.
People loathe it because every time you have to do the ladder grind to get back into Arceus and get realistic, like usable games, the amount of games that you're having to sacrifice to concessions because your card randomly doesn't show up when you click Nest Ball or whatever else, it's genuinely unacceptable. And
I think my problem with it as well is that it is so much worse than any other client for any other card game.
It's absurd.
At least
it's a shambles.
It is though. Tell me a worse one. For like,
I can't.
I don't know many other clients.
Like, I mean, Magic Arena is incredible. Even Hearthstone, I would say, is better as well. It's got a better UI.
I mean, this is the opportunity. This is the thing that is so sad. It's like there was nothing wrong with PTCGO. Like PTCGO was working just fine, and they actively came in to change it with the like idea to make it better. And like the decklist viewer is horrific. The import never even works. Whenever you import cards, it says it's like 6 Pokemon.
Well, there's no deck viewer, is there?
The deck viewer is like on the side, and you have to scroll through to even see it.
Segment.
Like everything they changed just for the sake of changing it from PTGO was not helpful and not like well thought through. Like,
and I know this is kind of like a 6-year-old argument, isn't it? From when it first came out, that horrific launch that it had, but I mean, it hasn't really gotten that much better, other than the fact that it's playable, which is bare minimum anyway. I mean, this is the thing.
That's arguable.
This is the thing.
I'm going to be honest with you.
This is the thing, right? Which is what I was actually telling somebody the other day who was complaining about live, is that if it was even released in the state that it's in now, I don't think it would still be looked on favourably.
No,
even if it was released now. The problem,
still a constant frustration.
I think the problem I have as well is that the successful blueprint, as in what is successful, what does successful look like for a card game online, it's there. The blueprint is there. It's Magic Arena, it's Duel Master, it's the many other Yu-Gi-Oh games that you have, it's Hearthstone. Your thing is there. It's already there. You just need to do what they do. But Pokemon, please.
This is probably the angriest I've ever seen Joe. Like,
I'm so disappointed.
Well, I also feel bad for the people who have to create content on it.
It's also like
I feel really bad.
You don't want to slag them off, and like you have to applaud that like they tried the little trial runs of like, oh, let's do GLC for a bit, let's do this or that for a bit, but the fundamentals are still there, and the fundamental issues still aren't being addressed ever. It feels like whatever they have in the team is being spent on. Basically, all their resources are just like inputting the new cards so that when the new set comes out, the new cards are mostly not going to break the game. And every now and then it still does. And it's like, I don't understand how the resources are not there for a client that should be the shop window for learning the game. And usually learning the game is how you retain people for like 10 years. Like, look at us, right? Yeah. It's like turning a collector into someone who's a lifelong TCG fan is going to come through the fact that you can play online. And just the fact that, like we said, we're like praising Arena and Hearthstone and all these other things, and there's so much potential with a good client.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like completely wasted right now. Like, just,
I think that's the biggest thing.
It's so disappointing. And I'm only recently even before this tweet came out, I was recently thinking about it because I wanted to try some interesting, like, cool, fun format content. And it was just like the first step was like, oh, by the way, you can only play standard friend battles. Like, great, cheers.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I typically wouldn't be playing this game if I didn't have access to a client, and obviously that's what TCGO. Obviously, it had its troubles when I first started as well. Obviously, people were playing, like, I don't know, Play TCG or whatever it was before then, on like those web browser ones.
Red Shark, anyone?
Yeah, well, I didn't even know about that. So TCGO, a bad TCGO client was my entry point into the game, and let me continuous to play, and it was generally fine. It just graphically wasn't great. But yeah, it's a shame that we're in this position still right now. Like,
it's even just when you get onto friend battles, you see how janky the UI is. Is that so? If you're sat next to someone and you're on a friend battle, it will flip one player's coin and like show both hands and go through the entire fruition of it before the other person's game even like begins. It's like, what is? How is this even coded? Like, I don't know anything about coding, and I know this is woeful. Like, what?
The fact that it's over 5 years old now, I have little hope, really.
Are we still in beta?
I mean, people only play live
Throw it out
because they have to, right?
Again.
People will only play live.
Games back.
People will only play live because they have to. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I think what Joe, I mean, just reiterate the point that Joe's saying, that you just haven't been able to just test what they've been able to show with the kind of, maybe an Okie Dokie should be in your deck instead of a Squawkabilly EX.
I mean, that's just they should be embarrassed by that. Like, let's be honest, that is a true embarrassment.
Well, they're not going to be embarrassed, Joe, because they're not people who play the game. So it's like they.
But the fact that they haven't thought that that's important to have in their team is absurd.
Like,
that's the bit that
we're not saying
that is the bit that's embarrassing. That's the bit that's embarrassing.
No one on the team cares to play the game themselves.
Have worked in IT. Like, we kind of have a rough idea of like a process that should go through development, through testing, through production, all these things to get pushed to release. Obviously, maybe this is alien to some people, but yeah, some
Joe is the stakeholder.
Yeah, Joe is legit a massive stakeholder in this. You know, the one with the highest, like.
You need to keep Joe on side at all times.
Keep him on that change curve throughout. You know.
Joe is informed at every gateway.
Do you have
really
any more?
Rolled up now. I can feel my blood pressure. High.
And tune in next time on more PTCG Live with Joe.
I'm gonna make a video about it. I'm annoyed. It's annoying. I'm doing it.
Put some memes in it.
I'm burning all the bridges right now.
Put some memes in it.
Well, just you said burn the client, so there we go.
Yeah.
Start it again.
Put some Frank Reynolds in it.
Right, I think we can leave it there. We've got Joe all riled up, and yeah, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him go.
No one wants to see that.
Anything for any more? What's everyone up to? I mean, we'll try and come back again, maybe in a week or two. Definitely pre our major events. I know we've got the other large events coming up. I think is it Houston coming up soon?
Houston, yep. Houston in 2 weeks. But there's Curitiba this weekend.
Oh yes, okay. Well, we'll maybe try and have a little look ahead of like one of the larger Ascended Heroes events as well. I think it's just kind of a nice talking point. And we'll give Joe more opportunity to talk about what other things he's seen on live, I guess. Anything for any more from either of you two?
No.
That's it from me. Testing some posts row has been fun. That's about all my notes.
I kind of feel like a lot of people should be at that sort of stage now. I mean, all I've been doing is kind of talking, reading, playing Riftbound. So,
come on.
Which I'm enjoying a lot, although interactions still are a bit crazy to me.
God, when Riftbound get a good client, it's actually over. Oh my god!
If
our house has been enjoying watching Celtic batter Rangers every week.
Our house.
Has Nelly got a Celtic kit?
She does, yeah. She has this year's away kit. Nelly 30 on the back.
Nelly 30. Very good.
It's great. It's great.
Did you get that whilst you were up there?
Yeah. I got it while we were up there. because all the kits were on sale at that point. Because it's like, I don't know,
all the kids.
it was like February or whatever. The kit is so small. It's all on one hanger: shorts, socks, and shirt. It's brilliant.
It is a treat. The fact that you can get a full kit, is pretty great.
Yeah, it was good. I was gonna get Tierney on the back, but then Harriet said, "Should we get her name on the back?" And I said, "Probably." Probably.
Can you say Tierney? Can you say Maeda?
I thought you meant you were going to get a shirt for yourself with Tierney on the back. But
No, I meant no. I mean, I'll get Tierney on the back. Guy's a god amongst men.
It's her favourite, Tierney.
See how his eyes light up when he's on the screen.
Done. Dada? What?
Tierney?
Anyway. That's thank you very much for hanging around and listening to us ramble through. Like I said, we've gone through a lot, so thank you very much for listening. We've been the Spill the TCG podcast, and we'll catch you guys soon. Cheers.